First met Pete Skjold probably about 15 years ago now, and he showed up to a gig of mine in Dallas when he was living back in Texas and had a car full of basses and just wanted me to check him out. And I was immediately impressed. And at the time I was involved with another luthier, but I had never been able to find the thing I was looking for in an instrument. I kind of had gotten as close as I could get and figured that's as good as it gets. And Pete did something pretty phenomenal. He said, hey, let me play your bass. And he played it and got a feel for how I had it set up, how I liked it. We talked about the sound. And he said, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I feel like there's a thing with the way you play and the way I build that might work. So take one of my basses with you and tell me what you like about it, tell me what you don't like about it, and I will build you something, and you tell me what you think. And that's the abbreviated version of the story. But I took him up on it. I had no plans on leaving the company I was with at the time. I just thought, hey, I'm curious, because I was in the process of exploring really what I wanted out of an instrument too. So I thought it could be educational and a kind of a cool opportunity. And long story short, I took a bass home, really dug it. There's a couple of things. I said, spacing between the strings, I like it a little narrower. I like this part of the sound, but this is a little glassy. I was having issues with things being too brittle. I wanted a full spectrum, kind of the full sonic range, but I didn't want it to be too bright, too glassy. I think I actually used the words chocolate raindrop at some point. And Pete, being a player, actually kind of knew what I was talking about. And again, long story short, he said, all right, ship that bass back, as a part of his just standing stock. And he started building me a bass. And he built me an instrument, and it was the best bass I had ever played. And I was just kind of blown away. I thought, oh, wow. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. And that is the thing that is so special about Pete. And that's what I always tell students or anybody asking about Pete as a luthier as compared to, should I get a this bass? Should I get a that bass? There's a lot of brands that people just go, oh, I know that'll be great. And I've played those brands, and they're inconsistent. One bass will feel great, one bass will feel like a fallen log in my hands. Pete, his magic is that he is a player. He made his living in Vegas playing bass, and he understands things from that perspective. And he also has this innate ability to parse your non-technical musician speak, stuff like chocolate raindrops. Know what you're saying, understand how you want it to feel and what you want it to sound like, and then he knows exactly what to do to make that happen. Whether it's the sixth string behind me wanting just a very even volume and intensity of note from the low B all the way to the high C, upper register stuff, a more woody sound. I said I want this to be like my version of a guitarist jazz box, like a jazz guitar, nice clear tone, but not too brittle. I want it to be warm and round, but still have the spectrum of sound, all the way to, I want something that kind of sounds like a P, but feels a little, feels like my basses, but I want it to do this thing. Or I'll send him clips of a specific player. Every bass he's ever built me has been with a specific sound in mind, because I do a lot of different types of gigs. I play jazz, I play funk, I play gospel. I do a lot of recording sessions, everything from classic rock sound to kind of punk, and just across the board. So I need tools for different jobs, and he's been able to provide those for me. I'll often walk into a session, and I always bring a little bit of an arsenal of basses, and a producer will say, well, let's grab a P bass and a pick. And I'll say, well, yeah, we could, all right, we'll do that. Let me try this. I think I know the sound you're going for. Let me try this bass. And without fail, they see a custom built bass and they think, oh, I know what this is going to sound like. Without fail, every time they go, yeah, that's it. I mean, I've played this 6-string on straight up singer-songwriter pop sessions. I get a producer's face when I pull out a 6-string, a custom built 6-string with a beautiful top. It's chambered inside, so it's super thick. They think, oh man, did we call the wrong guy for this session? What's he going to try and do? And it's the sound of the instruments. The sound of the instruments are phenomenal. The build quality is so consistent. I've never not opened a case and brought out one of the new instruments and thought, yeah, knocked it out of the park. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Best case scenario every single time. And Pete, he wants to be accessible to players. He's never priced himself out of the ballpark. He always, he focuses on covering his costs, making sure he can make a living and support his family. But he's never just thought, oh, I can charge 20 grand for this bass because so and so is charging 20 grand for their basses, so I know I can get. He's always wanted things to be accessible to players and those who want what he can provide. And what he provides is exactly whatever you want. That's what I love about him. So many bass builders have kind of a specialty, like a lot of brands. I associate certain sounds with that brand. But with Pete, every one of my basses sounds different, but they all feel exactly like I want them to feel. They all play like exactly how I need them to play to get the sound I want out of that instrument. And he's given me, I feel like Pete, more so than any person or company or piece of gear that I've been involved with or am currently involved with, Pete is a part of my sound. I wouldn't have my sound without my Skjold basses. I can approximate it. I sounded like me before, but I think I sound much more like me now. And I haven't looked back. Whenever I've been approached by other companies, I have people handing me their basses all the time. Check this out, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. But my Skjolds feel like home, and they are my home. And Pete and I feel like we kind of came up together, through the ranks. We're both kind of just really rubber was really just meeting the road when our worlds collided for both of us in our careers and our abilities. And we push each other, I think, as well, and inspire each other. And more so than anybody in the industry, I consider Pete a friend and a blessing. It's not a word I use often or lightly, but I'm just so thankful to have made that connection in my life, and it'll be a lifelong connection. He's a friend for life, and he's just a part of my musical path, plain and simple.